On May 24th, 2025, millions of people across the internet became convinced that one of the most dangerous objects in America had escaped its case. They were wrong, but not for the reason you'd think. Before the internet panic, there was the real story, and it's older and stranger than most people realize. In 1970, a nursing student named Donna received a Raggedy Ann doll as a gift. Almost immediately, she and her roommate began noticing something off. The doll seemed to move on its own. It turned up in rooms no one had left it in. Eventually, the two women brought in paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, the same pair whose case files would later inspire an entire film franchise. The Warrens concluded the doll wasn't haunted by a ghost at all. They claimed it was being used as a conduit by something far less friendly. Their solution: seal it inside a specially built, blessed glass case and never let it move again. For decades, that case sat inside their private museum in Monroe, Connecticut, closed to the public since 2018 over zoning issues, mostly forgotten by anyone who wasn't already a horror fan. Then came May 2025. It started with a single claim on TikTok. Annabelle was missing. The theory spread fast. Within hours, the hashtag tied to her disappearance was trending, and it had a second ingredient that made it catch fire, a real fire. A blaze had broken out near a plantation site in Louisiana, close to where a traveling paranormal exhibit featuring Annabelle-related items happened to be touring that week. To a certain corner of the internet, that wasn't a coincidence. That was a warning. Users began resurfacing an old quote from Lorraine Warren herself, who had said years earlier that the doll should never, under any circumstances, be moved. Within a single day, videos repeating the claim had racked up millions of views. People weren't just entertained, some were genuinely afraid. So, a team member from the group that manages the Warrens collection did the only thing that made sense. He filmed proof. Paranormal investigator Dan Rivera posted a video standing directly in front of the case. The doll was exactly where it had always been, sealed inside her glass box, inside the museum, in Connecticut, not Chicago, not New Orleans, not lost. The internet's monster hunt was over in less than 24 hours. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. The rumor wasn't entirely made up. Annabelle really had been traveling, just not in the way people imagined. The museum's operators run occasional supervised tours, taking select items, including the doll, to paranormal conventions and events around the country, complete with security, a case that's never opened, and, according to team members, a Catholic priest present to bless the doll at each stop. So the doll, that was never supposed to move, had in fact been touring the country for years. The panic wasn't about something impossible. It was about something real that most people simply didn't know was happening. Then, less than 2 months later, the story took a darker real-world turn. Dan Rivera, the same investigator who filmed the video proving Annabelle was safe, died suddenly while leading a doll-related tour stop in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, in July 2025. His death was unrelated to the doll by every official account. But for a legend already built on eerie timing, the internet noticed anyway. Later that year, in August 2025, comedian Matt Rife purchased the Warrens' former home, Annabelle's museum included. As part of the deal, he became the legal guardian of the entire collection for at least 5 years, which means, right now, one of the most talked about objects in American paranormal history sits in a glass case, owned by a stand-up comedian in a quiet Connecticut neighborhood most of his neighbors would probably rather forget is famous. So no, Annabelle never escaped. She was never lost. But for about 12 hours in May 2025, millions of people were more certain of a doll's location than they were of most actual news that day. Maybe that says less about Annabelle and more about us. If you want the next one, the story is even stranger. Subscribe so you don't miss it.